Let us now consider another problem. So here we have a bunch of decimal numbers and all of them are having the same number of digits. There are 4 digits. And then we want to sort them efficiently. So in general, we are facing the following problem. We have n numbers. Each of these numbers, they have the same number of d digits. And then all the numbers are in the same radix, radix k. And then we want to sort them. So radix here means, so for instance, decimal numbers, the radix is 10. Binary numbers, the radix is 2. So radix is the number of distinct digits, distinct number that each digit can have. Okay, so for decimal numbers, each digit, it can be a number from 0 to 9. For binary numbers, each position, each digit, it can be a number, either 0 or 1. So there are 2 cases and 10 cases, respectively. So using our real-life experience, it seems natural that we are going to sort by the leftmost or the so-called most significant digit. So what we are going to do here is we are going to look at the numbers, and if they are having the same first digits, we will put them into the same group. So this is one group here, another group, another group, another group, another group. So after that, we will look at each group separately. So for the group with starting with 1, then we will now compare their second leftmost digit and further divide them into groups so that the same group will have the same first 2 digits, and so on and so forth. So in the end, we will be able to sort the numbers. But the problem here is there could be many groups after processing more digits. So let's say after processing R digits, then in that case, there could be up to k to the power R groups. So there could be many groups to handle. So what we are going to do here is we are going to use a different idea to sort. So we are going to introduce the so-called radix sort. Now radix sort works in the other way around. So first of all, it is similar to what we have discussed, but then here we are processing one digit at a time, but starting with the rightmost or the least significant digit. But then the good thing here for radix sort here is for each digit, the n numbers are sorted by stable sort based on that digit, and then we are sorting all the numbers together rather than separating them into different groups. So what does that mean? So for each digit, the processing is quite uniform. It is the same. We are going to use the same time for each digit, and then we can reuse the same working space for processing each digit. And so this method is really easy to implement. So let's see an example run. So let's put the numbers here like row by row so that in that case we will see that we will have an easier way to see what is going on. We start with stable sorting the last digits. So let's call it digit 1. So when we see the last digit, we ignore all these previous digits. We just focus on it. We will see that the smallest one is this 2. So this number 4432, this 2 base, because of this 2, we put 4432 here. The next smallest number will be this 444, but then we are doing stable sort. So 1904 will appear before 1874, and then it will appear before 1304. So we have this, and now we should have 5, and then 8, and then 9. So after this step, so this is the result of sorting the n numbers based on the last digit. And next, in round 2, we continue with what we have obtained after sorting the last digit. We begin with this, but then this time we focus on the second digits here. So here we see that there are 0, 0. 0 is small, so we will put 0, these two numbers here. But stable sorting, so now 1904 appears before 1304. And after that, it is 1, so we will put 8318 here. And then after that, we have 3, we will put 4432 here. And then after that, we will have 5. And then after that, we will have these two 7. And these two 7, we are stable sorting them. So 1874 is before 2579. And after round 2, we get this result. So we will repeat this, but then for round 3, we are focusing on the third digit. And after this, so you can verify by yourself that this is what is done. So we will have 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. And finally, after the last step, step 4, there are 4 digits, so there are going to be four rounds. Then in that case, this is the result. And then we will see that everything is sorted. Now, this is quite amazing. Okay, if it is the first time that you came across this method, so you may wonder why it is correct. In fact, it is correct. It is due to the following fact. We can prove it by induction. We can show that after R rounds, the numbers will be sorted by the last R digits. So what does that mean? So after one round, if we just focus on the last digit, forget about the previous numbers. So we just have 2, 4, 4, 4, 5, 8, 9. So these numbers are sorted. After 2 rounds, we will focus on only the last 2 digits. So we will have 4, 4, 18, 32, 55, and 74, and 79. Ignore the other digits, then we will see that if we just focus on the last 2 digits, these numbers are sorted. After 3 steps, again, 304, 318, 355, 432, and so on and so forth. If we just focus on the last 3 digits, then they are sorted. So after R rounds, the numbers sorted will be sorted by the last R digits. So after D rounds, the numbers are sorted by the last D digits, which means that all the numbers will be sorted after D rounds. Now, radix sort just require stable sorting to help, and we can use counting sort we have just learned as the stable sorting algorithm. And in that case, the running time will be what? Now, one round of counting sort is n plus k, because there are n numbers and then there are k different class, because in radix k system, each digit, there are only k variations. So each round takes n plus k time. And to sort everything, we need d rounds. So d times bracket of n plus k is the total time. Now, if you understand everything up to this point, you may test your understanding for this following problem. Suppose that we have n integers, and then these integers are chosen from what? From the integer set 0, 1, 2, 3 up to n squared. How can we sort these integers in order n time? So I will leave this for you to think about it. Now finally, we will talk about the bucket sort method. So let's see the problem setting. So here, suppose that we have n integers, and then each of them are chosen from a very large integer set. Let's call it 0 up to u. So 0, 1, 2, 3 up to u minus 1. But then we have an assumption. The integers are chosen uniformly at random from this set. So here, we have this extra assumption. We will make use of it. And now we also assume that n is much smaller than this u. So there are far more numbers in u. And then further, okay, this is actually an extra assumption that I add, but then this won't make a lot of difference in the analysis. So here we will further assume that n can divide u properly. If not, we will just make u a little bit larger. So we will round u up to the smallest multiple of n. Now, if we want to sort these n integers, again, we can always apply merge sort, but it takes n log n time. And we can also use counting sort because it is like integers, right? But then for counting sort, it takes n plus u time. But u is a lot larger than n, so it takes order u time. And order u in general could be much larger than n log n. So it is very inefficient if we use counting sort. And what we want to do here is that we want to get something that is close to order n. So can we do so? Now, let's try the bucket sort idea that we are going to introduce now. What we are going to do here is, so we have numbers chosen from a very large range from 0 to u, right? So we are going to divide the range 0 to u into n equal length paths. So each of them will have length u divided by n. When we divide the range into these paths, then the number z, a particular number z, let's say it will belong to the path by, we can see that which part it belongs very easily. We can just divide z by the length u over n, and then we will see that which part it belongs to. What we are going to do here is we are going to create one bucket for each part, and we are distributing the input integers into the corresponding buckets. So it is very, very similar to what we are doing to help our billionaire. After that, we will process each bucket separately. So we are going to sort the integers in each bucket. And finally, we will combine the sorted results. So let's see an example run. So before running, so let's see we have all these numbers. And let's say the number will have range from 0 to 1000. So there are how many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 numbers, and then the range has 1000 numbers. So we are going to create what? There are n numbers here, 8 numbers here. We are going to create 8 buckets. Each bucket corresponds to a range of 125 numbers. So this bucket corresponds to the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 124. This bucket corresponds to numbers from 125 up to 249, and so on and so forth. And this one is probably 875 up to 999, something like this. Okay. And what we are going to do next, okay, we are going to look at the numbers one by one. When we see 235, we put it into the corresponding bucket. 127, the corresponding bucket. 478, the corresponding bucket, and so on and so forth. So after this, we are distributing the numbers into the buckets. And after that, we are going to sort the numbers in each bucket separately. So we are sorting this bucket, sorting this bucket, sorting this bucket, and so on and so forth. And finally, what do? We collect the numbers from the smallest bucket, and then the next smallest bucket, based on the value, and so on and so forth. So in the end, we get 35, 127, 170, 235, and so on and so forth, up to 990, and all the numbers are sorted. So here, why is this method likely to be good? Because there are n input integers, and then we have created n buckets. So on average, there will be one integer per bucket only. And sorting within a bucket will likely involve only a few integers to be sorted, because on average, it is only one integer. So here, maybe we will hit something like a bad case here. Let's say we have a lot of integers here, but normally, it is likely to have only a few integers to be sorted in each bucket. Indeed, okay, we may even use insertion sort for sorting each bucket. So we may use insertion sort to sort here. We may use insertion sort to sort this one. So although we use insertion sort, will make us into some problem in the worst case. In the worst case, all the integers could be put into the same bucket. So in that case, worst case running time is order n squared. But on the other hand, we can show that the expected running time is only order n. Now again, the analysis of this one involves probability or expectation. So in that case, it is out of the scope of this class. So if you are interested, you are most welcome to check the textbook for reference. So this is the end of this lecture.